So one is the number one we come with is senior manager. Now senior manager is someone who is who has a role of like very senior, very high in the organization, who is like an owner, like a CEO, CIO, any form of the CXO, right? They are ultimately responsible for the security. Now, if you're going to ask about the question, if you get a question around it, who is going to be ultimately responsible for the security? It is going to be the management. Okay. And if the question says who is responsible for security, the answer is who's going to go first? What would be the answer?
Everyone.
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 Everyone. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Okay. Then we have security professional. Now, security professional are the people like you, me, people are into information security team who normally roll out from the chief information security officer. So teams who report to them. Now, responsibility of the information security team might vary from function to function. Like a person who is into SOC, they are responsible for incident response, and a person who is responsible for application security, they might be responsible for testing the application from the security perspective. But overall, as a responsibility as a team, it is to make sure that they protect the data as per the organizational standards and policies from the wrong hand. Okay. Then we have data owners. Now, data owner is someone who has created the data, who owns the data. His responsibility or his or her responsibility is to make sure that they classify the data because they are the best person to know what is the content inside the data, right? So until unless uh, they do not classify it, there is no point of protecting the information because it doesn't have any classification. Without data classification, it is going to be hard for anyone to understand what kind of security control we need to implement there. Okay. Now, data owner could be anyone. They could be the senior management as well. So it could be anyone who creates the data. Now, data custodian. Now, custodian role is assigned to an individual who's responsible for. Normally, they are the one who takes takes the delegated task assigned by the data owner, like responsibility for performing the backups and ensuring that it has adequate protection around the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and these things are being taken care. In some of the situations, they are also responsible for providing access to the data based on the responsibility delegated by the data owner. So it's a kind of a day-to-day activity. I mean, normal custodian. Who is the custodian of the data? Okay, management of the data on a high level. User is going to be the end user of the data, like who is going to use it. End user could be the stakeholders or the normal user of the data. Okay, then we have auditor. Auditor's responsibility is to make sure that they review the data, they verify it, and make sure that it is properly implemented as per the organizational security standards and policy. And in case there are any control gaps, it is again reported back to the data owner or the senior management so that they can go in and fix it. Okay. Then we have control frameworks. Now, there are various control frameworks available.
Prashant,
Yep.
sorry, I had one question on the previous slide
Mm-hmm.
about data custodian. So
Okay.
in terms when we are using clouds, maybe another organization, and our data is put up there, right? So who in this case is the data custodian? Is it us as an organization or is it the cloud of the other organization?
As a custodian, it's going to be the cloud in most of the cases.
So who is responsible for the security? So if some data breach happens, will I be responsible for my own data, or is the organization responsible, the cloud organization?
If you're going to talk about the ultimate responsibility, it is going to be you as a customer,
Correct.
as a cloud customer. Yeah, because in case there is a breach happens and there is some kind of financial financial clause involved in your contractual agreement, then definitely the cloud service provider is going to pay you the money for the loss that has happened. But what about the other loss, like reputational loss?
Correct.
The customer is
Correct.
not going to trust you anymore. So
Correct.
ultimately, you are going to be responsible because you chose that service provider for you. And in case their breach has happened, you are responsible for that. Ultimately.
Okay. Thanks.
So,
Okay.
sorry, one question from my
Sure.
side.
Yeah.
Where the data protection officer would fall under, which role the data protection officer will fall into in all this
They are going to play a role
7?
of more or less like a security, not a security professional, but yeah, as a security professional, I would say. Or probably the senior management. Something like it doesn't have to be completely black or white. There is a gray area being it.